30 on the dot this morning. The COVID-19 vaccine is here, but cases in Spokane and North Idaho are the worst they've ever been. This morning, we'll tell you what you can expect in the weeks ahead with Christmas and other family gatherings around the corner.
Travel is expected to pick up for Christmas, and this goes against the CDC recommendation. If people do decide to travel, AAA put together a list of tips for you to stay safe as possible.
The best time of year is here, a time for giving. But this year, a local tradition called the Santa Express had to change their kid-friendly shopping experience.
It's a weird world that we live in, but we're pretty proud of this pivot that we made, and hopefully families are excited.
Their pop-up shop is now online. How you can support next.
And it's warm in town this morning. I'm going to let you know what that means for the snow on the ground and talk about an incoming storm that could bring rain for a lot of us.
Up with KREM begins now.
Well, the Spokane City Council voted to purchase 4 Model Y Teslas for the police department. This morning, we asked you, how will you feel about seeing our men and women in blue riding in a Tesla? And this is what some of you have to say. No, too expensive is winning by a majority on our Twitter poll, 48.5% saying, nope, just too expensive. We've also received some comments from you at home. You can text us 509-448-2000. Some people saying, why not hire more officers? Others not so sure if buying Teslas for police officers is a great idea. So anyways, we'd love to hear from you and weigh in this morning.
You know what? We need more information. Yeah. As a news organization, we need to dig in and find out how much a charger costs as it heads out the door. And then we need to look into how many miles they put on them in 5 years. We need to average out the cost of gas. We need data before we can confidently say any of those answers.
I was expecting you, Jeremy, to say we need to be the ones that go in for like test drives and that kind. That's what I expected you to say, but of course you took it the more, journalistic way.
Yeah, I mean that works too. But there's so many pieces of information I need in this whole thing. And well, for starters, if you want our police officers to be driving American cars, get rid of the Charger.
That's right.
It's not even made here.
Yeah.
Then put them in Teslas. There's your take.
Definitely a story that we're going to be keeping our eyes on as well as it moves forward. But hey, Jeremy, I know something else you are very passionate about is situation with our upcoming weather forecast, right? Yeah. Sorry.
I feel like I'm the Grinch this morning. You guys are like, oh, let's just give Jeremy something else he's passionate about. Oh, he's going to be all mad talking in the Weather Center about this. We got snow yesterday. Temperatures are in the mid-30s this morning. All that snow is melting. And I've got bad news. I don't want to be the guy bringing bad news, but unfortunately, our forecast calls for warmer temperatures. And as our next storm moves in, warmer temperatures means that storm is going to bring us rain. It's going to be rain in lower elevations. Not until you get up and over even 4,000 feet are you going to find snow out of this one. And we are talking a lot of rain, a full-on downpour tonight. I think that rain starts just in time for your evening commute home. And as we know, it's dark outside. You'll have rain. It is just going to be a kind of miserable drive home from work today. But if you like warm temperatures, hey, there's your silver lining. 40 degrees today. And as we head into the weekend, temperatures are climbing closer to 50 degrees than not. So if you like warmth, good news. If you like rain, great news. If you like snow in December and Christmas, I'm sorry.
All right. Well, we'll work on it and maybe get a little bit more cheer into your forecast coming up in a little bit, Jeremy. Over the past week, though, 2 families have reported their dogs getting shocked while walking around in downtown Spokane. Our Nicole Hernandez is live now from where it happened. We're going to take a look at what she's learned this morning. Good morning, Nicole.
Hi, good morning, Joshua. So it's this junction box here on Spokane Falls Boulevard, right along the plaza here, that a family from Peaceful Valley has actually shocked their dog. They said that their dog, Teddy, came up, stepped right on top of the box, lifted his leg, and that is when he got shocked.
He just started moaning and barking, and Amy went to grab him, and he bit her, and he was just howling in pain.
Teddy's family said they came forward about their story after seeing a different KREM story about another dog who was shocked just down the street. They said as soon as it happened, though, they called Spokane's 311 hotline. The city said they came out with a Vista but didn't find any issues with power in the area. The city's streets department said these incidents are very rare, saying the city does not know why these shocks are happening. The city does work on these boxes often, though, and says they are ready to respond if this happens again. You might remember something similar to this happening about a year ago. Those were dealing with heated sidewalks, though, and are different from the situation happening here on these boxes. Live in Spokane, I'm Nicole Hernandez.
It is 7:35 this morning. We've got 3 things you need to know about the coronavirus right now in our area.
Yeah, let's get right to it. Number 1, an ICU nurse at Harborview Medical Center was the first person in Washington state to get the COVID-19 vaccine. She received the shot Tuesday morning.
I feel excited, and for the first time in a while, I feel hope that there is an end coming to this.
500,000 frontline workers in Washington are in the first group eligible to get the vaccine. Washington has about 62,000 doses to give out at the moment.
Spokane Regional Health District has reported 226 new cases yesterday. 3 new deaths were also reported, and 114 Spokane County residents are currently hospitalized. To date, more than 21,800 cases have been confirmed countywide.
Number 3, in North Idaho, the Panhandle Health District is reporting 302 new coronavirus cases. That brings the total number of cases to 13,370 since the pandemic began. No new deaths were reported. Currently, 79 people are hospitalized. President-elect Joe Biden chose a couple more people for cabinet positions. The first, his former opponent for president, Pete Buttigieg. Now, he was tapped for transportation secretary. The former mayor of South Bend, Indiana, would be the first openly gay Senate-confirmed cabinet official. The department oversees the country's highways, planes, and mass transit. Buttigieg has some experience in dealing with transportation issues. He pioneered South Bend's Smart Streets program, which got rid of one-way streets and expanded sidewalks and biking downtown. During his administration, the city also installed several roundabouts, but the city's streets were always a big challenge. President-elect Biden says he wants major infrastructure overhaul as president, which would fall under Buttigieg's responsibilities. Well, Biden will also nominate former Michigan Governor Jennifer Granholm to the Secretary of Energy. Granholm served 2 terms as governor after serving as Michigan's Attorney General. She is a vocal advocate for clean energy. Granholm worked with automakers during her time as governor, pushing the industry towards electric cars. Dana Marie.
Let's take a look at what's trending right now on social media. Well, as Christmas and New Year's approaches, travel is once again going back up, despite the CDC's recommendation not to travel. Now, from December 23rd to January 3rd, millions of Americans are expected to travel this year, and that's according to AAA. So we're going to break down some of these numbers. This year, the AAA predicts 84.5 million, Americans will travel for the holidays. Now, that's 34 million fewer than last year's travelers. That number includes 626,000 fewer Washingtonians. AAA's Washingtonians public relation manager said, quote, while Thanksgiving is traditionally spent gathering with friends and family, the year-end holidays are when Americans often venture out longer and for more elaborate vacations, but that's just not going to be the case this year. Now, for those making some personal plans and decisions to travel, it's important to understand those risks and also take the steps to plan ahead to protect yourself and others. So here are some of those tips. What to know before you go. Plan ahead. Check with state and local officials about restrictions at your travel destination. Now, this does include what is expected once you return home. Second, follow public health guidance. The CDC recommends a COVID-19 test 3 days before you travel and 3 to 5 days once you return from that travel. Also, make sure you're following social distancing guidelines and wear a mask. Third and final tip, verify where you go before, because checking with those hotels and car rental companies to make sure they are open is important. Also, to learn what restrictions they have in place. For those who are traveling, there's a lot of things to think about, but of course the CDC at the end of the day is recommending people to stay home and limit that interaction.
Yeah, I know I would love to go back and see family, but I just don't want to risk it. You know, I have a lot of older family members, and as badly as I want to see them, I will next year, and hopefully they're still around next year, and that will be done by keeping distant.
Of course, we're going to keep an eye on any stories that come out of these developing travel situations, but many of us have had to switch up our traditions this year already. That includes the Santa Express event. We've got more coming up on that story.
I think it's super fun, and it's given us such an insight into these kids' minds that we, like, even in almost 30 years of doing this, that I don't think we would have had before.
We talked with the kid-friendly shopping experience that raises money to help with struggling families.